Welcome to week 12 of the Tailgate. I'm Michelle Margaux, and coming up soon, we will be joined by Giants linebacker Blake Martinez. But first, let's go to our SNY parade insider, Ralph Vacchiano, live at the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Well, thanks, Michelle. I appreciate being inside for this report this week since we have a virtual parade, or at least we get a look at it anyway, starting with, as always, the Frank Gore balloon, now in its 38th year and barreling through defenders and still, quite frankly, in a lot better shape than some of the younger balloons are.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't feel like a tradition if we didn't see the Frank Gore balloon. But Ralph, I believe there's a new addition to the parade this year.
Yeah, Michelle, this is very exciting coming down the street right now. The Daniel Jones balloon, who's had a string of a couple of good games and looking good, but oh no, it looks like the wind is going to take control, and down he goes, and it's okay. He finds a way to bounce back. I think he'll be just fine.
Oh, that looked like it hurt. Ralph, I hear a lot of excitement coming from out there. What do you see now?
That's right, Michelle. It is time for the moment you've been waiting for, the arrival of Tom Coughlin Claus with his rosy red cheeks. No parade, of course, would be complete without a visit from the two-time Super Bowl champion head coach, who is rarely jolly, but always willing to show off his rings.
Let's dive into the comments section, and we know the fan base loves Joe Judge, Ralph, but why doesn't Dave Gettleman get the same amount of love?
Well, it's amazing because if you like the job that Joe Judge has done with this team and you like the progress that they're showing, you have to give at least some credit to Dave Gettleman for bringing in players that are working out. But I think this fan base is still scarred by the beginning of his career and the overall record. They know what's happened and they're scarred by it and don't want to see the part he's played in the progress that has happened so far. But the reality is, if Joe Judge was coaching a group of really terrible players, this team wouldn't be showing the competitiveness that they're showing. So whatever happened in the past, Dave Gettleman's done a pretty good job of restocking this roster, maybe just not as fast as everybody hoped.
What did the last two wins mean for Gettleman's job security moving forward?
Well, the two wins specifically probably don't mean enough to determine whether he'll be back for 2021, but I think the progress that this team has started to show, not only in those two wins, but over the fact that they're 3-2 in their last 5 games, and they've been in almost every game this season, all of that is a feather in his cap. It really is something that the team is looking for. John Mara said he wanted progress this season, and you're starting to get it. The rest of the season will tell the tale, and they could go off a cliff, and then the decision's easy. But if they keep playing this way, they're going to have a hard argument to make to not bring him back for 2021.
Let's high step in the friend zone and welcome in Giants linebacker Blake Martinez. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right, so you guys are in the thick of a playoff race, building momentum. So what makes you think this team can win this division?
I think it's just the guys we have in the locker room, the coaches we have, just everybody across the board wants to get better every single day, and we're starting to see that kind of show up on Sundays.
You mentioned those coaches. Obviously, this is everybody's first year with the Joe Judge experience, and it certainly is seen from the outside that you guys really have started to believe in him, maybe you have all along. What's been your experience like with Joe Judge this year?
He's been pretty much one of the greatest coaches I've ever had, just in the ability of being able to coach you no matter what you're doing, be able to teach you things that are not only going to help you in the meeting room, on the practice field, in the games, but it's going to help you be a better person outside the locker room, think outside just being an individual. And I think that's been like the greatest thing I've seen from him since day one.
He's got a pretty good staff too, and your defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, has earned a lot of praise for his work this season. Obviously, the defense has been playing outstanding. What are the elements that make up this Patrick Graham defense and make it so good?
It starts with him. There's been multiple moments through this season where we'll be on the sideline. He'll randomly come up to me, since I'm the signal caller, and he'll be like, all right, Blake, I'm thinking this, and this to change it up from what we did in the first quarter, second quarter. And I'm like, wait, that's really smart. Like, oh, wow, like this is going to work. And it ends up working. And it's awesome to see what he just instills every day, whether it's energy, attention to detail, focus, just drive to be the best at what he's doing. And it makes all of us want to do the same.
More from Blake in a bit, but time now for our own home field advantage. And Ralph, obviously Thanksgiving will look a little bit different for everybody in 2020. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about stuffing our faces. So what are your top 3 Thanksgiving sides?
Yeah, I can't really give you 3 because I'm not that big a fan of a Thanksgiving meal, to be perfectly honest. I'm happy with just some turkey, some mashed potatoes, and then whatever you got for dessert. I'll have some football, some coffee, and sit on the couch and watch games the rest of the day. That's fine for me.
Well, my top 3 are number 1, crescent rolls, number 2, crescent rolls, and number 3, crescent rolls, because I just love carbs and they're so buttery and soft. And
wow.
Yeah. So you mentioned football. How many hours of watching football is acceptable on Thanksgiving?
Well, if all I'm eating is crescent rolls, I'm not going to get through many of those hours watching on TV. But for me, there's no limit. I mean, that's what the beauty of this holiday is. You have an excuse to sit there and watch football uninterrupted all day long. The fact that they added a night game is even better. So, 3 hours per game or so? So 9 hours total, I think. Not only is it acceptable, that's the minimum you're allowed.
You played a lot of Call of Duty this offseason to get to know your teammates. Who on the team is the best?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd probably have to go with Dalvin Tomlinson. He's kind of the guy that's, I think, whenever anybody's on, he's always on. So he's had the most reps.
What is it about playing football that you enjoy the most? Like, what's your why? Why do you play?
Oh, that's a good one. They asked us that before. I think it's grown throughout my life. I think for me personally, whatever I do, I want to be the best in. And I think football was one of the first things that I was good at. And so it just kind of stuck with me as, okay, if I'm going to do this, I want to be the best player I can be. There's certain concepts of football, whether it's the chess game that you can play, trying to outsmart your opponent, whether it's pre-snap, post-snap, being in the right position, trying to find the patterns and things that other players do. And so I'd probably say that's kind of my why now, is just the intellectual part.
Obviously, Thanksgiving's coming up. What are your must-haves for a Thanksgiving dinner?
So I might lose some fans here, but I do not like turkey.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, no, it's gut-wrenching for a lot of people. But my go-to is ham. I gotta have ham. Like basically, as long as we just get like a big thing of ham, like that's all I need.
Can you cook a ham?
I can find a way to cook the ham. I've never cooked a ham, but I will find a way. I'll find a solution for you.
Nice. Blake, as good as you are at football, you've also done a lot of good work in the community. I know you were in the past a nominee for Walter Payton Man of the Year. What draws you to community service, and what are some of the things you've done, especially since you've come to the East Coast?
I would see older people doing things in the community, and I always thought, like, hey, when I get that opportunity, I want to step into that role and do those types of things. And then one of the big things was my first actual best friend in elementary school. He passed away from bone marrow cancer in his knee in 9th grade. And I think that's one of the things that always holds dear to me. And it just gives me that motivation to step into those community service things with whatever comes my way. I'll do it because if I can change one person's life or extend one person's life by whatever I'm doing, by changing their day that day or giving them certain motivation, I'll do it.
Thank you so much, Blake. We appreciate it. Good luck.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right, let's get into our victory formation. Ralph, give us something to be thankful about with New York football.
Well, you know my record with covering New York football the last few years, so I'll give you 2 things to be thankful for. One is every win you can get. The fact that the Giants have 3, believe me, there was no guarantee you'd get even 3 wins this season. So be thankful for that, and be thankful that the NFC East remains a dumpster fire, because we're going to have interesting December football around here, some meaningful games, and as you know, that doesn't happen a lot.
I'm thankful for the fact that there are 2 teams, 3 if you count the Bills, to root for in case your first team isn't doing so hot. This year has been a little questionable, but also I'm very thankful that we have our Tailgate fans that watch us every week. So I'm very thankful for New York football for that. All right, well, that's it for this week of the Tailgate. Thanks once again to Blake Martinez. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you next week.